Welcome back to our YouTube channel. We're going to take a minute or two to answer some listener questions that you guys have submitted, and we appreciate that. We appreciate the interaction. It helps us to gauge whether our information is helpful, and it helps us plan future content. So thanks for commenting. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the man with the computer, and Zach, our producer, and let him give us the questions.
Yeah, hello out there. So we are today going to be going over some of the YouTube comments that we've been getting on some of our previous videos. Just take a minute to sort of answer some questions that we've been getting. The first one comes in from Tim Brink. Tim comments on our Stanadyne agricultural fuel pump removal and installation video. He says, I have a JD 570A, and you describe my problem to a T. Runs okay for 5 minutes and shuts itself down from lack of fuel. Since I've gone through the rest of the fuel system, I'm assuming it has a governor ring failure. Wondering if I can remove the top cover where the governor is located and replace the failed ring and clean out any debris. Thanks for the video.
Okay, well, thanks for the comment, Tim. And the short answer is no. You cannot replace or repair a governor ring failure just from the top cover. The top governor is basically, where the governor linkage in the metering unit is. You would have to take the pump off and completely disassemble it to get to that. If that's something that you want to do, obviously the video covers a lot of what's all involved. I would recommend that if this is your first time taking a pump apart, don't do it with a pump that's got to go back on your tractor. There are literally dozens of options. You can go on eBay and just find an old pump that's similar to yours. Basically, to kind of work out the kinks as to whether you want to do this or not. It'll help you understand your tooling and what setup is needed. The video itself is kind of an overview. But taking an injection pump apart is a lengthy process, so you want to consider it carefully. If you decide you want to do that, I recommend calling in, talk to our salespeople. They can set you up with whatever parts you need. If you want to, the special tools, we can help you with that. But I would recommend doing a trial run on a $40, $50 core before you take your pump apart.
All right, there you go, Tim. In short, no, you cannot reach that governor ring just by taking off the top cover. Let's see. Next up, we have Fritz S. He commented on our 6.0 Ford Power Stroke fuel injectors diagnostic and inspection tutorial. He says, my last oil change was horrible black sluggish engine oil. Can I flush the 6.0 engine oil? And with what? I think one of the injectors is clogged.
Well, thank you, Fritz, for the comment, and let me try to answer it as any mechanic would. Just flushing the system is not correcting the problem. So the first thing you need to do is determine, why is my oil the way it is? Now, I'm going to assume that you haven't extended your oil life to 20,000 miles, because that would be the answer. You're not maintaining your vehicle. I'm going to assume for a minute that you're not doing that because you're writing this in. What I would recommend that you do is have an oil analysis done. Now, oil analysis has evolved over the last few years, and it's now almost a prerequisite to troubleshooting vehicles. A lot of fleet services use it. There's a company, and I'm going to give a free shout out here. We have no financial affiliation with this company, but we use them a lot, called Blackstone Labs. You can go online and Google them. For under $40, they'll do a complete oil analysis. They'll send you spectrography and all of this data, but basically they will tell you what is causing your oil to get in that condition. I suspect that you maybe have a small amount of antifreeze that's getting into your oil. That typically is what causes it to sludge. I can tell you what typically does not cause it to sludge is a fuel system failure. Diesel fuel added to oil will simply thin the oil out. It's not going to make it sludgy. That just chemically, that will not happen. Conversely, water or antifreeze can cause that. So you want to determine what the problem is. Now, once you correct the problem, flushing the system is very simple. Just do an oil change, use some oil treatments there. Howes has some good ones. Lucas has some good ones. But you can get an oil treatment put in there, flush the system, and you'll be good. But you got to correct the problem, because otherwise it's just going to continue to happen. So good luck, Fritz. Again, we appreciate the comment, and hopefully Blackstone can give you an answer to your question.
There you go, Fritz. Get your oil checked out. Figure out what's going on with that engine, bud. Next up on the same video, we have a comment from user ASDF. He says, very helpful and informational video. Thank you. I checked out your website too, and it's very nice as well, with very well done guides. I plan on diagnosing my truck's issues soon when the weather cools down. It's not a daily driver. A ODBII scan gave me a faulty GPC module. I replaced that, but I'm still getting smoking and a smell, not quite like raw diesel, but maybe a burning carbon-like smell. Anyway, I'm fairly new to diesel troubleshooting, so any suggestions would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, well, Mr. ASDF, thank you for the comments. Let me kind of give you a 30-second rundown here. You didn't mention what color the smoke was, and I will say that that is really important. If you want to look at it as a spectrum, white smoke typically is fuel that is in the cylinder at the wrong time. And you mentioned a smell almost like raw diesel from the exhaust. So I'm going to assume that most likely the smoke is white. Black smoke is too much fuel in the cylinder, or not enough air, conversely. So there's an imbalance there. But the fuel's there at the correct time. When it's a whitish smoke, the fuel is in the cylinder at the incorrect time, and you will get raw diesel smell, you'll get white smoke, you'll get sluggish running. All of those things are a part of that. And that comes down to basic timing. It could be a faulty injector. It could be a fuel system issue. It could be a faulty sensor setting your timing wrong. This is where a good scan tool will come in. So I would recommend getting a full diagnostic scan, and then get a little bit more information. You can reach out to us. Truthfully, there's too much there to address in a minute soundbite. But give us a call, get some information, get your code package, determine, when you're talking about smoke, you'd want to determine what is the color, what is the consistency, and what are the characteristics. Does it only happen when it's warm? Is it worse when it's cold? Is it a white, gray, blue, black? All of those are important, and they all point in different directions. So essentially, get a little bit more information. Give us a call at 800-961-9290. One of our techs can go over it with you, and hopefully we can determine, based on your information, what the problem is and get your truck fixed.
There you go, ASDF. Pay attention to your smoke situation. Thanks for the comment. Next up, we have RF Farms. He says, under our DB2 fuel pump disassembly video, says, I was adjusting the fuel pump, and I had the Allen setting there, and when I cranked it over for top center to adjust, the Allen was in too far, and it rolled onto it, and I heard a pop. Now it doesn't pump. Thoughts?
Well, RF... ever so often I have to just give bad news to someone, and this is, you're the winner. That Allen screw is adjusting a leaf spring, which is essentially a curved piece of metal. And the tighter I push that spring in, the more it opens it, and that gives me more fuel. The problem is there are limitations to that. And it sounds like you've reached those limitations. You have either broken that spring, or you've damaged the screw itself. Either way, the fact that you're no longer pumping fuel tells me that that spring action is no longer there, and the pump has to come off. One thing that I hope this reaches to you before you get an opportunity to do it, you don't want to continue to try to start it when you have this type of damage, because you've got metal rolling around inside your injection pump that can do countless amounts of damage. I can't tell you the number of pumps that, had we gotten them sooner, we could have repaired them. But because the customers kept trying to start it, and they damaged either the housing or the head and rotor or any number of things. So I would recommend getting that pump off and getting it serviced. Please reach out to us, and we can set up the details for that. But that is definitely not something you want to continue to try to start, because it's not going to.
Sorry for your loss, Arrowhead Farms. Next up, we have Pama Monster XD. He comments under our DB2 internal parts inspection. He says, how much wear can the cam ring handle before it stops working?
Good question, and thank you for that. When we're talking about internal pump parts, the one that absorbs the most amount of torque and the most amount of pressure is that cam ring. That is what, by rotating the engine, that is what causes the injection. Conversely, it has to absorb all of that. So any little defect that's in that cam ring is going to just get worse and worse. So standard rule, if you can see damage, you've already gone too far. If you have to take a cam ring under a shop scope and look at it, and you might see some defects, you might say, well, maybe I can use this, for another duration, another 3,000 hours. If you can see it with a naked eye, you've gone too far. It's going to have to be replaced.
All right, there you go, Pama Monster. And our last comment for today comes from user A, and he says, why'd you stop posting?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I feel like I should go, hey. I don't know why that seems
Maybe
stupid.
he's Canadian. I don't know.
Maybe so. I don't know.
A-team.
Well, I'm glad that we have that question, because it gives an opportunity to kind of give you guys an update. Edit.
Cut that out.
When we started this, this was a part of a new marketing strategy that our company had went through. We went through a lot of changes with our website and with how we reached out to customers. And we were doing things internally. We would literally have to set up in our conference room, and if you look at some of those early videos, you can tell it's a different feel. We have since kind of partnered with a company called Ride on Set Media, where they actually have a studio. It's not in Memphis; it's in a small town outside of Memphis, and so this has given us the ability to kind of retool. We actually have a set now that doesn't have to be taken down, so we can have a lunch break. We don't have a lot of the background noise, and a lot of the issues we were dealing with, we had to get past. And so we decided to go to a studio space, and so that's what we've done. Now the upside is now we're in a permanent spot. We should have content rolling out, hopefully on a weekly basis, certainly every other week, and hopefully we can be a little bit more consistent. We appreciate the fact of people realizing that we're not posting. So that kind of tells us that, we did, at least in a small way, make an impact.
It's good to be missed.
It is. So we're going to hopefully have more content. I will say that you know, we stopped so we could regroup, retool, and advance, and that's what we've done. And hopefully you stick around. We'll have some more videos. And again, we appreciate all of you guys commenting.
Yeah. And on that note, in subsequent videos in the future, guys, we are going to go ahead and go through each of our videos and find all of the questions that you've asked. We appreciate those. They're certainly not lost on us. So in the future, you will see videos where we go ahead and answer those comments video by video. So if we didn't get to your question today, don't worry, that one's coming. And we will also include troubleshooting calls with some of our customers that have, you know, questions from us, whether they have an issue with their tractor or their truck, whatever issues that they may be having with their diesel. We're going to be recording some of those calls. So maybe if you experience a similar issue, we can share that video with you, and you can maybe get an idea of different techniques you can use to troubleshoot your vehicle, or possible solutions that might be able to fix a similar problem. So keep an eye out for those videos. We appreciate your feedback, and we look forward to answering more questions from you in the future. And again, we really appreciate you following and watching our content. So, yep, we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Yes, I'm built out and bound to go. I'm gonna leave here running, because walking is most too slow.
All right, back to one.